Hey everybody, this is John, and welcome to the free video. In the premium video, I'm going to tell you about the freshly generated sell signal that's in the NASDAQ. All right, so that does open up the potential for some more downside. Okay, and we'll, at this point, look for at least the skyline here, and if that goes, we could get to the fire line. So what are the things to look at for this? Well, keep an eye on Apple. Apple's kind of the big kahuna here, and it's frankly the stock that's struggling the most, okay? And we'll find out within the next day or two if this is a real sell signal. Like we've seen this before where the NASDAQ gets a little weak and it comes down a little bit, and then it's just off to the races, right? So we want to look for some specific signs that maybe this one's going to last a little longer. And a big part of this is sector rotation. So this in this market, and the reason the VIX is staying so low is that this market has been very, very, very good about sector rotation. And so even though the NASDAQ stocks and the FANGs are, kind of getting slapped around a little bit here, you're seeing that the overall indexes like the S&P 500 are actually staying very quiet, okay, because of the sector rotation. So this is why the VIX is like staying in single digits or very close. And I actually don't see that changing anytime soon. I kind of see this as a big rotation, like, okay, techs are a little frothy here, taking a break from that, and then putting some money into things like financials or consumer-related stocks. So in a situation like this, let's see, Starbucks. Let me grab this over here. So I was looking at in terms of the sectors, so you can see today that while technology stocks, okay, got hit pretty good, they did recover a little bit at the close. That you can see that while that was down 0.48%, essentially the equivalent amount of money was going into healthcare that was up 0.48%, and then select consumer staples in terms of the XLP sector, okay? And then we can just kind of come down here and say, well, okay, well, for the XLP sector in terms of consumer staples, what were the companies there that were doing well, right? And so you can see that, Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola, all these stocks enjoyed what today's action was. But I don't really see anything except for Walgreens that has, say, an actionable squeeze, okay? And what we're looking at here is that, look, with sector rotation, we just want to take advantage of it. And you'll notice that this looks a lot like financials. So what we did today is we were kind of flat going into today, but we did take some long positions and bought some calls and sold some puts on Goldman Sachs, staying away from tech stocks. Of course, we did a little stuff on Tesla, and then just like kind of looking for some iron flies. All right, and so the goal continues to be, how do we continue to search out income in this market? All right, I'm going to update you guys. The key, of course, if you're going to be trading successfully, is you've got to treat this as a business. And I actually kind of think it's the best way to treat it as a business is to pretend you're in partnership with the mafia, where you got to pay a VIG. In my case, the VIG is 2.5% a week. So, again, I started the account this year at 117K. My goal was once I got to 400K, I'd start wiring out 2.5% a week. That's the VIG. And then the goal would be, in a perfect world, I'd make a little bit more than that so that the account could continue to grow. All right. And you can see here that, you can see this right here. So, on the upside, I don't have any limits. Okay. And if we look over here, the weekly change in terms of the weekly performance, so up 3%. This, of course, was crazy. We had the weekly squeeze. We had Tesla, so 37% and 20%. That's obviously unusual. But then when I lose money, I don't want to lose much more than 2.5%, right? 1-to-1 risk reward. Then 11%, 16%. And then last week, I had a good week. And then on Friday, I had to scramble to get out of stuff to preserve a gain on the week, all right? And then so what happened was that at the beginning of this week, I started at $726,000. And of course, if I can make at least 2.5%, which would be about $18,000, anything over that is gravy. And then if I look at where I am right now, so $768,000, okay, so that's 26, 36, 46, 56, 66, so about 42. So that's good. That's about 5% on the week. And the goal, of course, is to continue to grow the P&L year to date. And then you can see I've got a combination of some iron flies here and some stuff like that. But also notice going into tomorrow, I'm like in 90% cash, okay? And that's a really key thing. And the understand is that even though I've been growing this account very, very quickly, I'm not using a lot of exposure. Okay, so now the question became, and somebody was asking me this, it's like, okay, John, I like this idea, right? But you know, and this is great that you've got a situation where you've had some kind of kicker trades like Tesla and stuff like that, where some weeks you're really good there. But what if I was just interested in 2.5% a week, or possibly driving that up to 5% a week, but not having to rely on these Tesla things that where you're buying calls? I don't want to stare at the screen all day. I want to do more income type stuff, but with the idea that that weekly income a little bit more steadier could generate those kind of returns. What do you do? So what I'm doing this Saturday is a class on exactly what I'm looking for to do that. Okay, and I've actually I'm setting up a new 50K account. So if you want to follow me on those trades, you know, this is the class where to kind of get involved and understand what the setups are. And on Saturday, we're doing the 497 strategy class. This is going to be Saturday the 17th at 12 Central. If you can't attend live, that's okay. It'll be recorded. It's going to include the strategy I'm going to be doing, plus a specific tool that I'm using to measure the statistics of the moves that I'm looking for in the markets for the highest probability opportunities. Okay, and then of course the 997 package includes, you know, the strategy, that stats tool, plus an additional stats tool for weeklies. But it's also the 3 days of live trading. Every class I've done this year, the live trading has more than paid for the price of the class. Okay, now obviously that's not something I can guarantee. I wish I could. The markets are the markets, but that's been the trend. And then the elite package is simply all of this stuff. And then if you're interested, if you're not currently a gold member, like we have a gold membership program, a lot of people don't know about it, but we actually text out all these trades. So if you can trade full-time, great. We've also got a trading community and a trading room where you can hang out. But if you can't, you've got to work full-time, you can get the trades texted out. And so this includes 6 months of that. Okay, so that's that. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. And then a lot of people, and people were asking me about, hey, what about this new $50,000 account? If I want to follow you on this, what do I do? Well, I'm going to set up, to differentiate it from my Thinkorswim account, I am going to I've set up a Tastyworks account. Okay, so Tastyworks is the new broker by Tom Sosnoff. It's super fast. It's got commissions that are about 75% less probably than what you're paying now. So if you would like to mirror and mimic my trades on Tastyworks, okay, and because you can open up a Tastyworks account and follow me, and mimic what I'm doing, this is your opportunity. So if you use our link, which is simplertrading.com/TW, okay, you then follow that to open, and it's important that you actually fund the account. You can put in like $2,000, okay, or obviously more if you want to, but put in at least 2. Then what's going to happen is you qualify under our leads, so that when we start developing our indicators for Tastyworks that maybe you already bought for Thinkorswim, we can then just transfer the licenses over to your Tastyworks account. Okay, but you have to follow our link to do that, and then fund it, or we don't have that. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Again, simplertrading.com/weekly for the class. If you want to get set up and follow my live trading and mimic exactly what I'm doing in my Tastyworks account, I encourage you to go get that going, simplertrading.com/TW. Follow the links, fund it. You're credited as being one of our accounts, and then then any indicators and things like that you want to transfer over later are good to go. Hope that helps. It's going to be an awesome class. It's going to be an awesome week, and or awesome next week. And see you guys then. Have a good one.